Hi everyone. So today we're gonna see a very useful tip that I frequently use on AI Studio from Google, which is basically comparing two different model on a specific same prompt to really evaluate the performance of each and the results and how to fine-tune that. So in this case, when you're in AI Studio, as you can see here, you can actually activate this part of the comparison itself. So let's say, let's remove this one to close the chat, continue. So you arrive on the AI Studio, and here you have the compare mode, which is basically side-by-side comparison. So once we activate it, we have the capacity to choose which model we want to compare side by side. In this case, I'm gonna compare the 2.5 Pro to the 2.5 Flash with the same settings. In terms of temperature, thinking mode is active by default for 2.5 Pro, and as you can see here, thinking mode is enabled for Flash. And the test for both would be the following prompt. There are three boxes. One contains gold, the other two are empty. Each box has a label. The label on the gold box is true. The labels on the empty boxes are false. Box one's label, the gold is not here. Box two's label, the gold is not here. Box three's label, the gold is in box two. Which box has the gold? And explain your reasoning step by step. And in this case, the test actually is a logical puzzle to solve. And then we just run it. We can see it's the same prompt for both, and each one is gonna process it in their own way with their own approach because these two models are somehow different, even if they are from the same provider, Google in this case. And you can see that both are run into their thinking mode, both in terms of analyzing the statements, reviewing the assumption, rethinking the paradox, interpretation, etc. And let's see who's gonna come first. Most likely it's gonna be Flash because it's faster. But here, it's not just about speed, it's about accuracy and the thought process that came to that conclusion itself. I can see they are still reflecting and analyzing the logical conundrum here, reevaluating the puzzle, reflecting on the logic, analyzing the logic, and so on. And actually, these are very useful if you want to compare, even for the multimodal aspects, like comparing images between two models and trying to figure out which one has better output, comparing the same model but with different parameters in terms of temperature and so on. And this gives you really a good way to see how certain settings and attributes, when working with the same model or different models, can bring a completely different output. And yes, as I said, the Flash Gemini 2.5 model is bringing in the first answer, while 2.5 Pro is still thinking through. So Gemini 2.5 Flash is saying that the final answer is box one. Let's go through a bit of the explanation. Classical logic puzzle. Label on the gold box is true. The labels on the empty boxes are false. Okay, let's denote the statements. Possibility one, the gold is in box one, and there they go by confirming, validating, or denying the assumptions for each possibility. What does this mean? Since the gold cannot be in box one and cannot be, it must be in box three by elimination. Let's verify if gold is in box three, is consistent with all the rules, and completes all of those assumption and scenarios until coming to the final conclusion, which is the final answer is box one. Now let's see 2.5 Pro. 2.5 Pro is saying that the gold is in box 2. And in this case, here's the step-by-step reasoning to solve it. The key rules are label on the box with gold is true. The labels on the two empty boxes are false. And in this case, taking a different approach, analyzing box 1 and box 3 with those assumptions, and then concluding by elimination. But in this case, I think the paradox is making it a bit confusing, and in particular, the uh, good correct answer is actually box 1. And you can actually play around this on your own. And I would love also to hear your thoughts after this experiment. Thank you, and see you soon on the next video.